as good. I think it's mostly on me. Sometimes these bastards. If you want, we can do like a 15-minute.
Sam takes forever to move.
He's just gay.
Oh, yeah, I just checked. Sam for the fifth move, it took us 16 hours to do.
See?
Damn.
That was 2 days.
Yeah, because he's busy like plugging it into a chess engine to see what he should do next.
Do you, in that version, do you have Palm Passe?
Take your turn, Sam.
I know. Hi guys.
Barf, these guys are playing chess.
So they're allowed to hijack my rooms perfectly okay. I'm okay with that.
Who did that? The Protestants?
No, it's usually the Jews. Usually the Jews do it.
The Jews hijack your room?
Yeah, it's usually the Jews' fault. And then we work down from there. We start there and then we work our ways down.
This sounds like Southern Lebanon.
Those voice sounds, the one that's always like here. I guess she's Iranian and she's got like these big eyes.
She was
And
getting
how
it
she's
straight.
planning her day. She's planning her day. And she's focusing on like, what boats are you aware we cool young Pablos? Are you aware we cool young Pablos? No.
Young Kanye West album.
No. His actual name is Young Pablo.
Like Pablo
He's
Picasso?
amazing writer. Amazing writer. He writes things the way forward. He wrote all these books. I almost have all of them. So if you're
I'm gonna play Rush, guys. So Mixed. I think I moved Mixed.
you think you moved, you're not sure?
I moved.
It's 10 minutes.
Like girls.
I got Young Pablo. I gotta put the light on though, because I'm getting old.
Oh my god, we're fucking Monday today. Yo, that's crazy.
Hello?
I thought
You didn't realize today was Monday until just now?
Yeah.
They're still on COVID. Go ahead, Sam, it's your turn. They're still on COVID time. I can't.
Simon's just trying to stay topical to the room topic.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
Exactly. Tron.
I took off today, Spirit. I took off work today because I didn't have enough Adderall to go to work.
Oh my god.
That's a weird thing to say.
So you mean to tell me that you didn't have enough meth to go to your job?
I was gonna go to work, but I couldn't get high.
Yes.
Hey, let's talk about getting high.
I mean, if you're a true junkie like myself, and maybe you guys would dude, don't live off the Adderall. That's not good stuff. You've been doing it your whole life. You could wean yourself off of it. There's a process you can go through. But get off that shit. Seriously, it's not good for you. He said, alright, so if it's been over 30 years of me doing it, so fuck do you want me to do? Slowly under the guidance of a psychiatrist. Remove it completely from your diet. I get it from the psychiatrist. Yeah, I understand that. And I'm saying, you have to tell him, I don't want this shit anymore because it's messing with who the fuck I am, and get off of it. I don't know who the fuck I am. Alright, so how do I know who the weird, crazy person is when I've always had it in my diet? I'll tell you, the weird maybe I'm not willingly. Yeah, I know. You have to do it to keep getting the drug, but stop that shit. That's bad shit. You're a drug addict. You just said I can't go to work because I don't have enough meth. Dude. Yeah, well maybe if you're a real drug addict, quit that shit. It is bad shit. Maybe you would see. This is what happens when you come online and try to share your life and you try to talk to people. I'm telling you, I do not stand by those drugs. I fight them.
I mean, we're not really shitting on you.
I'm telling you to lay off the meth.
Yeah.
No, there are other things that I have to do today that I'm going to make excuses for to say that I just didn't take off of that. Sure. I mean, when you're not on meth, there's a lot of things you can excuse yourself for not doing. Yeah, so it always works that way. It's never going to be just because I'm not on math. Right, you'll get stuff done. You just have to mess. I have been doing stuff when I'm leading off of it for the longest.
Well, think about how many important conversations you've had with Muslims who can't speak English so good. That math helped in the process.
Well, yeah. I'm really not that. I guess I'm really not that smart. Yeah, I mean anyone's pretty smart at math.
Barth.
God created you as a natural being. You do not need drugs to augment your mind.
Well, they can help. You know, Barth, have you thought about just smoking a little bit of
The GLP? Yeah, I losing the weight? I lost 40 pounds. Amazing. I lost 40 pounds. I lost 40. Why? It's my insurance pays for it. If you can't tell, I have pretty good insurance. I could be on the shot and on the shit and on the other shit all at the same time.
Have you ever just tried eating only meat?
No.
Come on, Jordan Peterson. If you're just gonna eat meat and not have a salad, what kind of fucking loser are you?
Salad is for losers, like really gay. But no, you probably wouldn't throw up. Probably lose that weight every double the amount of time. It's actually really good for you, really healthy.
So it makes that when you did your undergrad and you studied a book all day long, did you take math as well? Study reading a book all day to get your undergrad?
They're not full shit if they say they didn't do it. They're liars if they say they didn't do it. No, I stopped at some point around then. I just don't remember when exactly. I'm pretty sure I took it when I was like studying for the LSATs.
How hard is it to actually pass the bar?
The bar? The bar's a little tricky. But that's not what you have to take it to get into law school. There's some savants out there that go and they look at this test and they've studied a few times and they fucking pass it the first time. Then you gotta with the LSAT because the LSAT is pure logic. But if you know how to read English and you can reason, you can take the LSAT. But the bar, you actually have to know what the law is. You have to study it.
I took
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I'm actually.
Oh, somebody kicked me. Objectivism.
What they're saying, but some of these folks make some valid points, right? So I was already concerned when, was it Iran, they said the military bombed, or was it the military bombed the girls' school. I don't know how much of this is real, folks, or how much this is war / political propaganda. So anybody smarter than me can correct me on the facts. But first I was like, what? We bombed a school of girls? A threat to the United States, the greatest nation on the planet. What's going on? And now it just, what's that name? Hold on. Okay. So is a puppet. Trump is being used by Netanyahu. That Netanyahu is actually leading the country. Now I know this is not a new talking point. I know for as long as folks have been engaging and Americans have been engaging in political talk, Israel, the Mossad, Netanyahu's influence on our government, the money we send to Israel has always been the center of those conversations, oftentimes, right? But I don't know, guys. I'm like, what the heck? What is going on? Is this true? Trump is a puppet for Bibi. They say Bibi's claim Spain. Guys, my political savvy people, I'm going to yield the mic to you. I need you to tell me what's going on. Is our president a weak puppet? His legacy is going to end with him being tied to fucking children, a puppet for Israel. She said he will die a slave to Israel. These are her words. And I'm like, damn. For a man who's really about his ego and his image, that's gotta hit hard, right? Okay, I'll land.
Well, I'm gonna say this, right? Here's the thing. you have to look exactly what you're saying, right? Trump is what? He cannot run for a third term, right? So the train that people have been riding on Trump is ending in 3 years. It's going to end. He's not going to be the president anymore, cannot be the president again. They're called ship because the ship is ending. It's reaching its destination point. And these people are, they're trying to find the next way. They're trying to create their own momentum to make sure they stay relevant. But the situation is this. Israel have influence, but we dominate Israel. Israel is like our Ukraine, to be honest with you. We control Israel. When Donald Trump became president, I was watching this thing very closely, the situation with Gaza. When Biden and the companies that was supplied by Biden and Kamala, they both signed off for it, sent them up over there, they was doing carpet bombing all over Gaza underneath Biden and Kamala, right? And what's happening right now in Gaza? Has it stopped? Last time I checked, I think it stopped when Trump came up. He kind of ended that shit real quick. I don't see Israel bombing the living daylights out of Gaza anymore. And so who's controlling who? That wasn't the intentions of Netanyahu. He wanted to keep that shit going. And what changed? Now, that's that. Now, going to people would have to tell you this. The person in that seat on that battleship, let's just say his name is Roger, right? He saw a building and he pulled the trigger, knowing that it was a girls' school. He pressed that button, right? If you knew they're not connected to a barrack or a military type of building on our military bases, and they built the school right next. I'm talking about elbow to elbow, a couple of feet, or connected to it. Like, why would you do that as a grown man? Like, why would you put a school directly or connected to your military operation? Now, slow it down a little bit. You got people in the military that goes into that command center each and every day. They see these little girls go into the school each and every day. Every single man, it didn't cross their mind and be like, oh no, wait a second. Why is this school connected to us? Shouldn't it be a little further away? Can we move this school away from us just in case something like this might happen, right? No, they didn't. So, it was a tragic mistake. Whoever dropped the ball on it and the intel was old, they need to be, I don't think that person should be in jail, but demoted. Whatever needs to happen to that person. So we're talking about over 1,000. Yeah, we're talking about 1,000 or 1,900 to 1,800 strikes. Now, if it was their intentions to blow up 2,000 strikes, so only one. What about all the other targets of schoolgirls that was not targeted? So, and then we look at Gaza situation, what Israel was doing, right? They were just dropping bombs every damn where. And I was highly critical of them. So it's hilarious how people use these type of things to attack. And I'm just telling the reality. I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Biden. Both of them fucking crazy. But I understand the reality of that. So I think that Trump historically is going to go down in history. That was the best military operation I ever seen in my life with Venezuela. The Venezuelan president is in New York City right now. You can fly to New York and see his ass locked up in jail. This shit is crazy, bro. In Venezuela now, one of my close friends is from Venezuela, and his parents had to run from there.
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
100% right. I guess I've been wondering lately why, especially with the heat that Trump is getting, why does our government, our presidents historically bow down to Israel? And I invited Baseball to come up and share, so he is welcome to take the mic next. He said, I know why, guy. So I invited him to come up to share and answer that if he likes, or anybody else can answer that. Why historically do our presidents bend the knee to Israel.
I'll give it a try now. And good morning. Good morning to everybody in tonight. Historically, from what I've seen, and I think it's factual, 24% of Congress they follow the Bible. So I wouldn't say they're fully evangelicals because there's some Catholics in there, and I'm a Catholic, I'm conservative, but they follow the Bible. That Israel is the land of the Jewish people, etc., and there's strong ties there. So they do feel that Israel has a right to it, and they back that from a biblical that fact or that perspective. And I'm certainly not a Catholic scholar or what have you. So it's a confusing issue because just from a human standpoint, of course, I think most people believe that state has a right to exist, but that's really the heart of it. And you look at people like Huckabee and what have you in his interview with Carlson, they come out and say it. They state the fact that that's why there's such a heartfelt belief behind that. So that's where the root of it is. I don't know if it's good. I think that's just the reality of it, and that's why the government's followed in backing Israel so strong, not to mention, of course, that it was created in 48 or what have you, and, they sort of got to stick to it. So that's my basics behind what I understand.
No, baseball, thank you for that. That is in fact, listen, I had never, guys, I admit, listen, sometimes I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I never considered the biblical aspect as the source to why. Thank you for that, baseball. Nathan, I think I saw you come off mic or whatever. Wait, hold on, baseball. I think you want to say something. Hold on, go ahead, baby.
No, I was just saying cheers. That's just my basic understanding, so I appreciate the opportunity to chat.
No, thank you for coming up. Hold on, Nathan, before you go. I think Phil was trying to go. Go ahead, miss. Go ahead.
No, I didn't want to give other people a chance to get in there as well. That's all.
Oh, okay.
So, we got shit.
If I may.
And then if anybody else wants to go after and then if not, we'll let Nathan add again.
Yeah, first of all, good morning. I hope you guys are having a great day so far. Here's my 2 cents, man. So, I have about 23 years of military experience. I retired, served in 5 different deployments. I've actually been to Israel and spent a whole lot of time in the Middle East, all the way back to the Operation Desert Storm. And so here's my 2 cents of why America is so strong about supporting Israel. And I'm going to try to put them as best as I can in prioritization, right? So the number one priority is the strategic alliance that we have with Israel. Israel plays their role in the Middle East is like the foremost reason the U.S. support regarding security and geopolitics. The second thing I say is military and economic aid. The United States substantially over the years has assisted Israel in the billions of dollars. So we have real economic, solid investment and financial investment in Israel. So just like any investment, you want to take care of that investment and you want to make sure it gives you a profit. And that profit, as far as America is concerned, goes back to the strategic plan of Israel. It places them in a position where they're able to get intel because the Israeli CIA, if you want to call it that, is one of the best in the world. So we can literally put our thumb and finger in every major opposition force, terrorist organization, countries, factions, all through Israel's intelligence operations. And then if you go back to what the brother was saying previously about the historic ties, we've been had a relationship with Israel all the way back to the early 40s. Cultural religious affinity that America has to Israel, and also its influence on the public opinion, right? And that's not my personal opinion, but I'm just saying general consensus of people that believe that. And so I'll land with this. The last thing I say is that
the shared interest and lobbying efforts that the United States and Israel share, they effectively advocate for each other. Like, it's a democratic country. So if you have a strategic place in the middle of the Middle East with a hell of a CIA and billions of the United States, every president is going to have a major interest in making sure that the lines between America's interest and Israel's interest stay on point. And I'm going to land with that.
Thank you, Unc. Nathan, when it comes to admin.
I've been saying it for I've been saying it for a very long time, and pretty much my grandfather, since he was serving in World War II, where he was there, got there, but alive when it happened, in the creation of Israel, because I asked him that when I was a kid. And in my understanding, like it's a military base. What it is, it's a military outpost, and it's like a wedge between these other countries. In my understanding of it. And if you do pluck out Israel, these at that time period, we just got out of a massive war. There's somebody like an ideologue like Hitler, right? He did a lot of crazy stuff. And, it's like North Korea and South Korea. Right now, it's split. So the power structure is split in half. But if North Korea and South Korea was to unite, there would be a very powerful country. Same thing with the Middle East. If we take out Israel, we don't want them to unite. Just imagine if Iran, Saudi Arabia, and all these type of Arabic countries united underneath one umbrella as one country. That is a big power right there that they would have. Extremely powerful. So I don't know. I'm just thinking like it's a military strategy to put a big wall and to make sure they're divided and fight each other and have some type of disarrangement. That's what's going to happen. Like as soon as something pop off, we can put all our military support whatever because of Israel. We can put all these submarines or whatever because of Israel. And it's like the military launch pad our operations and it divides those people over there. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking about.
It's not just Israel. Jordan is a great ally of ours, King Abdullah. He's a good leader. He's pragmatic. He loves his people. He loves justice. He loves peace. And there are just bad actors in the Middle East. And some people think it's the Israelis. And they blame everything on the J words. But the problem with that is every single argument has a counter argument. And so there are just very polarized political people on this app. There are a lot of propaganda spreaders. You probably heard even Iranian agents or Iranian, supporters come on here, like in the way that they would have Vietnamese women say, "Don't kill us, don't fight us. Your government is it." It's just counter propaganda. But if you've ever been to Israel, it's a very diverse country. You're in Tel Aviv. If you jog 10 minutes to the south, oh my God, there's a mosque and there's Muslims everywhere. So don't believe a lot of the propaganda. Israel has like a 20% non-Jewish population of Christian and Muslim Arabs who are fully integrated, highly educated, and prosperous. And they're a democracy. They're not a fascist regime. They're open to intellectual debate, freedom of speech. They have a Congress, the Knesset. But all the world's religions concentrate there, basically. I mean, the three major, but not Buddhism, Hinduism, or Taoism. And that's like 1 billion people. In my opinion, as an American, I am up for suspending all international aid completely. We spend 60 billion plus just at the State Department, another 100 billion at the CIA. This is taxpayer dollars that can be invested in your community. And that means a gymnasium. That means another library. That means maybe free college. That means maybe reparations. If you're a Black African American and you would rather have your money go to Jordan, Egypt, Israel, or to the military industrial complex, well, that's because you keep voting for charlatan politicians who are easily bribed. APAC and the defense and the big pharmaceutical industrials, they bribe every politician to just keep giving them your money. I am complete.
You know what's interesting about this? So thank you, Kitover, for the share, because here's the thing. I was not aware, as you stated, that there are Muslims living. It's not something that I would even consider, right? So I'm surprised, but not so surprised, that there's a thriving, as you know, Muslim culture in Israel.
18%.
But you know what I immediately thought of, and you guys could correct me if I'm wrong. I've never heard of radical Muslim incidents coming out of Israel. I've never heard of Muslims bombing anywhere in Israel, gang rapes of Muslim gangs in Israel. Like we hear about the UK, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh no, they got the terrorism. In that 20% population, there's a lot of terrorist activity. And don't believe the hype. There's a lot of terrorism in that Arab-Israeli community.
Well, let's not believe the hype either, because there would never be a Muslim presence in Israel. I talked to people from Israel. They would be dead before that's allowed to happen, granted. Most of what you said is true.
Look at New York. They got Mamdani. Close enough.
There's not going to be a Muslim president of Israel. Yeah, but don't maybe your lifetime. Maybe in your next grandchildren's lifetime it won't be. And just Google what I said, man. Don't believe the hype, bro. I understand what you're saying completely. There are Muslims, a lot of them are walking around different ethnic groups in Israel as we speak, right? But don't trust me. Just go talk to somebody who lives in Israel and just ask you that question, right? Because I know you haven't. Say, hey, will there ever be?
They come from the Sunni side, they come from the Shiite side, they come from the Sunni side, they come from the Shiite side, and they kind of put down their version or their original version that they were brought up in the Muslim religion and changed. And what Israel looks like, in my experience when I was there, is that, because I went to the Wailing Wall, it is a very, very, very diverse population. And even amongst the Jews, there's Orthodox Jews, there's all different sects of Jewish, the way that they operate as far as their religion and theology is concerned. So looking at that particular thing, I say that all that I just said to say that the United States has a democracy-style interest in Israel because it is the closest that America is going to get, it's the closest that Israel is going to get to being an American society, Western society, right? And let me tell you something too. There's racism in Israel, just like in America. Like there are Israelis that don't want Africans there, just like in Palestine. They got Africans in Palestine that are literally treated as less than, like, it's almost like indentured servants in some cases, and even that much more as the slaves. So believe me, and you have to do your research on Israel. It is an extremely diverse population there. Yes, there are more population, but the footprint that you see and the fingerprint, the DNA, is centered in the American Western civilization. I don't have that.
But it's also the diaspora population. It's the Canadian Jews. It's even the Mexican Jews. There are Jews in everywhere. It's physical material ties. So there's a lot of billionaire Jews living around the world that are more than happy to fund operations to help support the mother country. That's a nice benefit and advantage to have over your partners. The one thing that a lot of people complain about is if you're a Jew living in the diaspora, well, guess what? You can go get citizenship in Israel. But if you're a Palestinian living in diaspora, you can't get citizenship in Palestine. And so, is it fair? Hello?
People, when you talk to Jewish people, right? They can't trace their lineage back to the biblical points of Israel. They don't like the deeds and things like that. Religion from that area spread from there, right? And it went. And then the people, billions of people just didn't all pack in one day to Israel. Religion spread, not necessarily the people spread. So the religion spread just like Christianity. Christianity didn't start in Europe, but it was spread to Europeans, and more people were converted into Christianity. So it wasn't like an enormous amount of people. So I push back against that. Most of these people, when you ask them, hey, where's your great grandparents from? It's not going to be from Israel. The people that's there, and it's not. And people from Hispanic people, when you ask them that question, they might be Aztec. People from Pakistan lives in Israel. Their roots doesn't, they can't trace their respect to Israel. Now, politically and stuff like that, yeah, it's just like how they created America, right? How did they do it? They brought in people that had interest in America who was going to, follow the operation and colonize the land. That's what really it is. It's a colony. That's what Israel. The colony needs people. So it's inviting and saying, hey, if you agree with my agenda of the Jewish agenda and all these check marks mark off, and you want to check these marks off and get with the program, you can come up over here because we need you. We need bodies here. So Israel needs people. It absolutely needs more people, just like an 80 colony would. It needs to expand, just like it is a colony. And that's what it is, bro. Don't get it confused that these people can trace back landies from 6,000 years ago, bro. Go ahead, you got it.
There's been a lot of colonies throughout history, and there's been a lot, if you know the history of the Jewish people, they've been liberated multiple times. Most religions deal with religious liberation theology. You could even say the Free Palestine movement is a liberation theology. Anyways, I'm just saying, if you have a negative critique of anything, well, then you should at least try to find one positive critique. Because, in my opinion, the longer you talk, the bigger the hypocrite you become.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you. Should I reset, or y'all got a gist of what's going on here? Y'all good? Who's that? I can't see.
That's sure.
Oh,
you brought him? Okay.
Hey, go ahead.
You can reset.
The post about Mexico in the chat, zeros, said universal health care in 2027, the president is going to push for it. It's the first time I heard about that.
Reset, or y'all good?
No, I think we're good unless there are more people who entered the room who don't know what's going on. The zero's point, yeah, Nathan, that's a great point in the chat. Watch the narrative switch up when that universal health care in Mexico takes place.
I know that. I mean, I live in Mexico, Monterrey, and Atlanta, back and forth for about 4.5 years. I got my residency down in Mexico, so I'd be a great benefactor of that. I'll have me if you need help.
So listen, I saw Cuba in the headline earlier when I came in, and it made me think of the power outage situation they were dealing with there last month. And I went on Google to find out do most of the citizens still not have power? Are they still
last month, big sis? Where have you been? Mo?
I mean, but it's only April 13th, so what?
Honey, they is going 52 hours a day without, since the whole Venezuelan oil and all that stuff has taken place. They is on the over there, honey. That's why I put them in the title. So I think it's a good time for me to just go ahead and just say what I said. So, the fall of Cuba, Iran abstained, and then there's Trump, right? So, the fall of Cuba, is really based on what's happening in Cuba right now with their government not wanting to, get in bed with us or whatever. They don't want us to see them naked, I should say. And what that result looks like is the fact that, they're without power, shortage of food, et cetera, et cetera. It's bad over there, real bad. So, with that being said, then we have Iran. I think it's common sense of what's going on over here. And then we have Epstein, where is Epstein? And what happened to the talks of Epstein? Just the fall of Epstein conversations, right? And then there's Trump, right? The question about Trump is whether or not he is going to go down as the greatest president of all time, because he got the transgenders out the women's sports, and he's prioritizing us with the families and stuff, and make more babies, and we're going to incentivize you $1,000, and that money's going to be put in the account, it's going to grow, and etc. He did all these great things, implemented all these great systems, but then he did something that he said he wasn't going to do, okay? Which was start a war. And he also didn't do something that he said he was going to do, which was end wars, right? So the question of Trump is, are we watching this administration, or are we watching Trump, I should say, go down as the greatest president of all time, or go down as the most, go down as a war criminal / liar of all time? How do y'all think this is going to play out? How do you think it's going to end? I don't know. It's just a family kind of question. Yes. But I do know that they have tried to make a deal. That's a good question. Give me a second. I'm driving. Let me pull over. Because I do know that they tried to fix the energy crisis. What exactly they could possibly want from Cuba, considering the fact that, to be honest with you, they really don't have much of anything. For real.
Possibly be available to Cuba.
That was the oil. So the Cuba's main oil source came from Venezuela.
And that's 100% of the electricity problem.
Yes. It is real bad.
So they're not getting nothing from anywhere.
Nope.
When you put all of your eggs in one basket, I think that's what happens.
It is so bad that Cuba there's been mandates releasing, hold on, let me read this. The United States is leveraging severe economic pressure, including restricting oil shipments, to force Cuba into a deal that mandates releasing political prisoners, allowing U.S. investment, particularly by Cuban Americans, and initiating economic reforms. Washington also seeks to break Cuba's alliance with Venezuela and demands democratic reforms, such as following free press and unions. Significant changes to allow private sector growth, encouraging U.S. business participation in investments, and in security partnerships and advocacies, and cooperating on reducing migration and drug trafficking.
I guess you don't need a union when you are a union.
Say that again.
The funny thing about communism is there's only one corporation, there's only one union, there's no competitors. And, Marco Rubio, with his experience in Cuba, now is the time to turn the most beautiful island in the world into our beach and playground. It's only right that Cuba should be the crown jewel in the American tiara.
What currency does Cuba use?
It's the peso.
And I know Cuba has its own currency.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not going to be
Cuban pesos.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy for them to just say, oh,
government telling them what the hell to do.
That's a complete change of regime. They're not going to do that.
But see, here's the thing, though, big sis. The thing with that, though, is who is it at the expense of? Because look at the people. The people in Cuba here, they look happy. They're very happy people. I'm watching these little blogs of people that's traveling to Cuba right now. And another thing, too, these people that's traveling over there, they're not going over there to see, historical sites and stuff. Yeah, that might be part of their blog. But they're going over there to document the conditions of Cuba right now. And so I literally been watching these blogs for the past, 5 months or so. And, I just watched one from this guy that went over there last week. And when I tell you, the people, they look happy and all of that, all of that. But when they start telling their story on how they got to stretch food for a good old month, you know what I'm saying? How they're out of power 52 hours out of a day, probably only 2 hours out of the day with power. You know what I'm saying? These things is
the people that are, I know the country folks are fine, but the city folks and the people that, lived in high places are the ones that's probably plummeting. Because I can see the people who maybe grew their own food, farmers, those are the people that are making it to where other people can't survive over there right now.
That place as a whole is going down. As a whole, I can't even single out and say, well, this one neighborhood over here is doing all right when the other 75-80% of the whole shit is out of whack. So it's in real bad shape over there right now.
So I found it. I had to look it up. A lot of people don't know. I'm gonna read it to you, right? How they restrict Cubans. Can Cubans buy land in Cuba? It's very controlled, right? And that's what I'm saying. It's restricting freedom and how to prosper. Cubans living in Cuba was able to buy and sell homes amongst themselves since 2011. So just in 2011, they was allowed to buy homes and sell it. So on one hand, the one home rule, a Cuban citizen can generally own one property residence and one vacation home. State control. The government still monitors all sales. There are many restrictions on where you can buy. For example, special tourism zones or the Mario development zone are often off limits to even Cuban citizens. So that's just a small snippet of the amount of control that this government has among their people, restricting you of prospering. You as a Cuban citizen can't even buy property on a tourism zone. The government controls them and say, hey, man, go have fun somewhere. Because they're reaping the benefits from these things. And like I said before, there are a lot of Black Cubans, brothers and sisters, whatever you want to call them, are, underneath this regime are suffering. Just imagine you as an American citizen, somebody told you, that beachfront property right there, we can't buy it because the government said no. Florida, we can't buy property in Florida because the government said no. You see, New York City, oh no, hell no, you can't get that land either. We would be considered. We would say, hey, that's oppressive. Something like Jim Crow. We've been through this thing already. Hey, you can't buy land here, 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 and here. You can't work here. You can't start your business here. You can't do it. That's very restrictive. And unlike, TS, you said before, hey man, look, everybody got a claim against reparations at the end of the day on this type of shit. Because that's just crazy.
They sure do. Because y'all denying help and your people's out there starving. Like, that's definitely in my opinion.
It's the arrogance.
You don't want to go from anywhere else either. Like, that's horrible. Like, you're not going to try to get oil from nowhere else. Have you burned all of your bridges from all of the other countries?
If they wanted to get oil from us, they could get it in 24 to 48 hours. They could easily get it.
Yeah, I know, but they don't want to get it from the United States.
They got arrogance. They got that machismo problem. That's what all countries end up having problems with, is their machismo. And in Cuba, Fidel Castro and that family, you know, Fidel was such a charismatic leader. He carried that fucking country on his back. And the fact of the matter is, if they were strategic and we could have a communication breakthrough, they would join our franchise. America, the government, is basically a franchising operation. It's either corporately controlled or independently owned. And if the Cubans were smart, they would join us if they could somehow get past that machismo and forget the history. The history hypnosis holds them together.
I understand a little bit. It's one thing that's their own, kind of breaking the mold is like breaking tradition and history and so on and so forth. I can understand that, but there is a way for them to get help in what you get, once you do that. It may take years and years for them to see their independence again, free from debt from other countries, but you gotta do what you gotta do. You just really do. They gotta do something.
The geographic proximity.
They're not gonna have a choice.
We're so close to them. They're so close to us. They're stupid to rely on Russia or China. If we were to merge and join us, could you imagine the deal they deal? Cuba could become the hottest development in the whole fucking world, but the Cubans would have to give up their bullshit communistic system and become capitalists, ruthless capitalists. If they were to do that, everybody would prosper 1,000-fold. Instead, they're all going to live in shit because their brains are shit. You know it, I know it. They don't know how to strategically develop themselves. They're stupid.
I don't detect
Yeah, the regime, the sad thing about it, man, like when I notice, in Mexico, right, when people are born into it, just to my regular citizens, they just live their life and don't really, because I talk to some people like, hey, have you ever been to the United States before? Would you like to come one day? They're like, no. It doesn't click. You know what I'm saying? Like their living conditions versus what's a possibility. And after a lot of Cubans who's born into Cuba, been living there for many decades of their lives, right? They don't understand what universe, how much they're going to prosper, right? They don't. It clicks for some of them, right? A lot of them, but a lot of people, it just doesn't click. Like they really don't understand how much their life will change for the better if that regime would go. If there would be a free market and open things up so they can actually prosper. So they're hard-working people in Cuba. These people work extremely hard. They're extremely smart. They have pretty much the highest density of doctors and degree holders in any other.
They've all left the country, Nathan. They live in Florida now. They've all left. Every one of them. Just about.
Well, yeah, a lot of them did go down there, but they will. That country, the historical, just the culture there, it is a very rich culture. And the Cuban music,
Nathan.
a lot of things, but yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I hate that sometimes we get into lane issues. So, what I'm reading based off of a news report that came out yesterday, I guess NBC News sat down with Cuba's president, who said that they would die to defend against U.S. invasion. And so basically, to answer what's her name's question, Ms. Sugar, the question of what is it that the U.S. wants from them, it says that they want. I'm sorry, 1 second. There we go. I just had it. Oh, there you go. They want releasing of political prisoners, scheduling multi-party elections, and recognizing unions and free press. Order. These are issues that are not under negotiations with the United States. Diaz-Canel, and I might be saying his name wrong. Diaz, this is your question as to what the U.S. is asking from, what they're asking of Cuba in return to offering them some type of aid or help, So I don't think that's a lot to ask for.
No, it's a start.
Delusional? That's a projection if I ever heard one. That's a delusional projection.
This is what I see about
Is that a personal attack?
free press. You talking free press.
So what do I get in the press?
We have a state, so it just pretends to be a corporate media. We all know the media is the dead government. It's called Operation Microwave. Well, look at this shit. Then you said they wanted to bring the union. Oh, that's an innocuous thing. I haven't talked about a movie named Family Movie. Don't think I'm saying no doctor. Y'all go Google it, like it's Family Doctor.
You sound muffled. Can you relax first because I get muffled?
Gompers. It's pretty phonetic. Gompers. Samuel Gompers. Union. Just look up Samuel Gompers. Union.
Gompers.
Gompers. Correct. Gompers. This is what the union did. Now, remember, you live in America where your people were slaves for free. And right after they were slaves, the crackers came with a thing called the unions.
The crackers? What do you have, a matzo ball soup?
Universe, chill, man.
Well, if you're gonna talk cracker, I wanted to say I'm a cracker, I guess. I was asking.
They used and weaponized against the citizens of the United States of America is the same union and the same press that they want to export to Cuba. Cuba's not smart enough. We study this career. See, you got all these critiques of these white folks. You think these people in these other countries don't know about Illuminati? You think they don't know about Rothschild? You think they don't know? You said it was all they got there. They smart. They got all the doctors. You think these motherfuckers have a red creatures? That's why how they created the Federal Reserve System. Our money is a fiat currency that is created out of thin air. Do you think those people are going to take that beautiful island and solve that? See, then secondly, you have to understand the history of the mafia in Cuba. And those people, when Fidel Castro was like Farrakhan. And when I say that, he was like Farrakhan because if you guys remember, watch Farrakhan's speeches, where he speaks at some of these colleges, universities, he's spoken at all of them. And every time I've heard him open up his speech, he has to talk about, well, to the students here in Michigan State or whatever state you was at that time, thank you for all the black students here. And I'm sorry that you guys have had to deal with all of this people. These students at the school, because every school he speaks at. And it's just so sad that the Citizen Students Union didn't allow for the funds that the students had raised to be used for our little piddly money that we used to get it. Thank the security for being here. We are very close. When they don't let the FBI do the shit down, the back and it's always very disrespectful. But the bottom line is, Farrakhan is very good and has always been good at this telling the truth about the news. They can say whatever the fuck they want to say about Farrakhan, everybody can say about that. But when Farrakhan get up there and tell you the history of the thing, like anti-defamation league, Congress, or any of these so-called motherfucking black organizations like the NAACP, you should do 100% fact. And so that's what Fidel Castro was doing when he was fighting issues. And you can't even just ask him again. If y'all want him to join with him out, well, God's key.
Fuentes really the camera is a heterosexual.
Y'all already know what y'all got coming. If y'all go to America, if you let America run this shit, so the fact you were drinking y'all, they're going to be slaves. So you think any of those black people be like, oh yeah, we want to be American. We want America. No. They was like, fuck that. Hell no. I'll do this shit on there. I know that. I know that anyway. I'm Cuban. I know that. I know that. I English. I know that. That's why they say I know that. Because nobody ever wanted to join in with this American thing for those Latin Americans.
Oh, my God.
You're on mute, King.
I don't know how I knew myself. The phone was so hot. But anyway, the point is that America has been exposed to people across the world, man. The information that we share in these rooms and I talk about in these lectures, this is information available on the World Wide Web.
World Wide Web?
People with access to it. And a lot of our quote-unquote allies there, how it is treated. for hearing y'all. They're in the comments when y'all are commenting. Oh, Joe Biden's administration. These people are in the comments when we're commenting about how fucked up America treats us. And what smart person from anywhere in the world would say, sign me up for that, boss? Who would say that? Right? Now, of course, they might immigrate to America, understanding that the conditions in America are much better than what they would be in any of these protectivists that y'all are talking about, that they think that Cuba want to be before everybody else. So I just want to go back to really study the experience that they found in Cuba the first time, where the mafia, particularly Iron Lance and the Jewish mafia, was over in Cuba buying up all the land. That's why the state's got a 2-house region. Because they know goddamn well, yeah, sure, people might want about 2-3 houses. And they're cool with that. But it's the full influence of the motherfucking Jews. Who y'all think Cuba been fighting against? America? Exactly. You're silly. And when people tell stories still to this day, they say it was the Italian mafia was over there in Cuba. They don't even say it was the fucking Jewish mafia. When Meyer Lansky was the motherfucker that was making hand over fist in the goddamn casinos that the mafia had built with the Giancarlo family. That's why Giancarlo's ass got off. Giancarlo's the one that got the pictures of Clyde Tolson, the deputy secretary, the deputy director of the FBI, in bed with FBI director, motherfucker J. Edgar Hoover. That's what made Giancarlo so powerful. The way they was able to even leverage that shit, he even beat in Cuba setting up their motherfucking mafioso industry. So here you got the people of Cuba. Imagine this is your country, and some gangsters came over here to do some shit. Okay, cool. We might get some jobs in some casino. Cool. If that's all you're looking for. But as far as structurally and infrastructurally, you guys know why these other people have been kicked out of 100 and less opportunities. Because they come in there and do what? They try to monopolize the economy. And so that's what they were protecting themselves with. Their alliance to Soviet Union makes perfect sense if you understand it in that context. Because they were allied with the Soviet Union for no reason. They were allied with the Soviet Union because the Soviet Union had fought off the same fucking Jews. The Soviet Union turned the same back to Russia after that completely fought off all goddamn Jews. So, when you actually look at the history of Cuba and how it breaks the story on Russia, it's for the actually go back and look at Cuba and Russia's participation in the Angolan War of 1974. Now, who's the good guys and who's the bad guys? I always think that the communists, as much as y'all know I'm against the communism, I tell you all the time, communism works differently in places where population is a homogeneous population. Like in Denmark, or Sweden, or in Cuba, or in Angola. Communism can work in those homogeneous societies. It's not a long-term solution because at some point in time, you have to use the communism or the socialism, or at least the alliance to Soviet Union, to stave off whoever your enemy is if you're an Angola or a Cuba, so that you can nationalize your minerals, build up your own internal wealth, up your military to then you can protect yourself, and you can create a democratic constitution and become a democratic republic like the United States, and you could be socialist. But you cannot be a capitalist trying to make capitalism with the West. It's not going to work. You have to oppose the system of capitalism when
knock yourself out of here with that phone in his pocket. That's why I was asking about the currency. Yeah, Cuba is not going to, they're not going to fold to real easy. It's going to take a lot. It's going to have to, a lot of countries are going to have to force them into a different regime.
Yeah, Venezuela. We got Venezuela, we got a partnership with them now. So they're going to put pressure on Cuba. This is the reverse dominoes. Have you ever played dominoes? This is the reverse domino game theory.
Who's running Venezuela right now?
Los generales de la militar del país de Venezuela.
Oh, you were talking about the history with Angola. You're talking about the Soviet Union and the war with Cuba and right? And so the war in Angola was over the oil. That's why they want Cuba to break their partnerships with the Ukraine. They don't even want them to be able to access that shit. Much less do they want them to be able to offer it to another country.
Well, I mean, I pretty much ripped you off. You did good today.
We as Americans sometimes forget, and we'll start to thinking.
Answer my question, Mr. Trump. Did you conduct acts of war on an obviously far more advanced species?
Calm down. You're saying Cuba need to come on and get some of this American. Yeah, immigration right now is a hot mess. So Cuban, I think that for them to wait it out the way they are is a good idea because nobody seems to be too desperate right now. Not yet. They're not that desperate yet. They're just not. So we'll see.
They said they got 15 to 20 days left for oil.
Yeah, and by then, they more than likely would be having talks with China and Russia. That's just how bad. That's just how bad they're not going to want to be in bed with the United States. We'll see. Or we got another war, huh?
There's gonna be diplomatic breakthrough. Everybody is so pessimistic, but the truth is people want in. We have the biggest moat and it's regional. And, there are diplomatic breakthroughs. There's military breakthroughs. There's victories. And now they're just influencers on Instagram. It's not pre-internet 1960 where it's all television one-way broadcast. Like you said, the influencers have penetrated. And that means that people in Cuba know that they're living in a state of disarray. Have you seen how old the facilities are? There's no new construction, no new cars, nothing. The place is a fucking time capsule. They need to be brought back to 2026. They live in the fucking past in a time machine. Do you know how horrible it is to live in a fucking time machine? Hello?
They love their old vehicles. They love rebuilding old vehicles. But what I'm saying is, before this Venezuelan thing, was Cuba.
But Canadians have been enjoying Cuban beaches forever. America also loses out. It's not just the Cubans that lose out. It's the Americans that would love to get on a United Airlines Delta flight and go to fucking Havana for a week or 2 weeks. Instead, they go to Puerto Rico.
Why aren't United States citizens going to Cuba? Why weren't?
Because
are you saying they weren't? Or are you saying
you can't there's no flight from fucking Minneapolis or San Francisco or Los Angeles. Otherwise, people would be going there by the millions. It's the best beaches on the fucking planet.
So you gotta go to Canada to go to Cuba?
Yeah, Google it. Am I your travel planner? Do you want to buy a travel package? Because I can set you up with an Apple vacation real quick. You want me to send you the link by email so I get my affiliate commission? I'm saying, I'm the kind of guy that wants to meditate in my secure little baby bubble. But I could go on Instagram real quick and just geo-target Havana and then see all them girls shaking in the streets, drinking them Cuba Libres. The point is, Hyatt hotels, W hotels, all the major hotels want to open the most luxurious 5-star all-inclusive resorts. Riu Palace. All these people can't do business there because the government is so stupid and restrictive. They don't know how to create prosperity and abundance. It's because they have a communication problem, a culture problem. They are, again, living in a fucking time machine. It's 2026, not 1966. Wake up and smell the fucking smell the coffee and the roses. We're your friends.
They don't want
angry. You angry.
You guys remember
Leave me alone.
have a president here in 1963. What happened to that president in 1963?
He was assassinated.
They knocked his ass off. Unsolved crime still to the day. We know who did it, but unsolved crime still to the day. Y'all realize that Cuba was right in the crosshairs of the reason why America knocked off a whole motherfucking president? Because he didn't agree with the CIA's policy on it. Y'all got looking a little deeper into this. Y'all want to go find your peace? Y'all stay in America. Enjoy yourself.
He said,
I said you are. Keep that money in the United States. White folks, all you talking about, we don't have to first. The first motherfucker want to jump on the plane, somebody else is like, he ain't got $9,000. Backyard, motherfucker. Always want to take your American dollars overseas and shit.
yeah, trade in those Americans for currency and then go have a good time. If you can't do that, stay at home. I think it's beautiful that Cuba owns Cuba and it's independent to its own. That's a great thing. You know, if they don't have leaders right now that are doing right by their citizens, other than the thing that happened with the oil in Venezuela, seems like they were doing fine before now. That's all I'm saying.
I looked up the etymology of the word Cuba. It says here, it's believed to originate from the indigenous Taíno language, likely derived from terms such as Cubao, where fertile land is abundant, or Coabana, great place. It was recorded by Christopher Columbus, the conqueror, in 1492, possibly referring to the Taíno word Cubanacan, meaning central place or a large important territory.
Christopher Columbus ain't do nothing. Like somebody else. Yeah, my people, the Canadian, they were responsible for his death before he left this world.
You the descendant of Columbus? That's a bold claim, sugar.
Nothing. Christopher Columbus can make me believe this in our history. His name has been thrown in and everywhere. He didn't discover.
King, you was muffled, so I couldn't hear you.
Oh, that
Don't you know Christopher Columbus?
I think I thought it was Steven.
Yeah, it sound like him though, but I don't think it was him.
You angry? Leave me alone. You angry?
Yeah, as soon as I heard him say that, I'm like, what the hell?
The conqueror, Christopher Columbus.
I'm surprised that people are even able to still say his name.
Can't say the name, Christopher Columbus.
Nobody's teaching that shit.
I can't say the name. Christopher Columbus.
Get a statue of him in front of the White House like 2 weeks ago.
Say what?
You talking about Christopher Columbus?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I said, didn't Trump just put a statue of him?
Trump put a statue of Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, 2 weeks ago. I thought it was fucking Jesus.
About 2 weeks ago. About a little over 2 weeks ago. They just put a Christopher, because he's been adamant about that for some years now.
The Jewish people working on
that for some years now. I mean, can we hear? I don't know. Is it me, y'all? Is it me? Because I'm like, what in the world is going on? Like, I don't know if it's my phone cutting out, because it's like, but, yeah, because he's been very adamant for a very long time about his love for Christopher Columbus and not wanting us to forget about, his legacy and things of that sort. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm going to have to go and look at that, because
That's set in stone.
yeah, they slung his name in the middle of everything. He couldn't discover every goddamn thing. Like, that's crazy.
in March.
He ain't got nothing to do with the Cuban language in their meetings. They done swung his name in there. That's crazy shit.
Yeah, definitely 2 weeks ago. So in March 2026, his administration installed a replica of Columbus statue, which is toppled in Baltimore in 2020 near the White House, which was toppled. And so then there was Trump. Hi, Avo.
Yo.
And then there was Trump, honey. Now you don't answer my question. Not even you, Merk. That's not nice. No cereal, no Merk.
Did you put a picture of Jesus Christ up in the Oval Office?
No, I didn't ask that.
Yeah, so right where Jesus Christ up in the Oval Office, and a lot of people were up in arms about that because the Oval Office is other presidents.
Was he black, Judah? Because Putin said Jesus was black, Judah.
He's not completely, he's olive complected, he's not white, he's not black, he's olive complected. It's a darker, I couldn't see the picture too well, but he's a darker color of Jesus. He's not a white complected Jesus.
So, AB, you just gonna be cute on mute? Got it. Brother Hakeem, you just gonna be on mute? Got it. JoJo, you just gonna be on mute. Okay.
Looking up research.
Well, speaking of Epstein, I don't know if you already mentioned Tsunami. It's very, very interesting the timing of Melania Trump holding a press conference about her. I'm sorry, I had a call coming through about Epstein, her lack of her connection to Epstein, or lack of connection, Trump's relationship. I mean, it's very interesting. Why now? Some are saying it's because some former trig-bait gal that she used to come up with over there in their modeling days. I think she's a Spanish model, or at the very least, she's about to speak to Spanish press. And according to social media, guys, I don't know how true this is, so if anybody with better insight on this than me, you can weigh in. But apparently this model is about to do a tell-all with Spanish media. And there's been some concern behind the scenes at the White House that Melania is worried. I guess she was tipped off about what the woman reveals in this article. And by reveal, it relates to Melania and this model's relationship with Epstein, their connection, what they did for him, were they tricks, et cetera, I don't know. But behind the scenes, they claim whatever this woman revealed in the interview spooked Melania to the where she wanted to get ahead of the narrative, and that's why she held the conference with Epstein. Or some are saying it has to do with the war and just being a good first lady and coming out holding this press conference to distract from Trump's and Israel and Iran, and to re-divert the narrative about his mental health back to Epstein, right? So, what do y'all think about?
Guilty all over her face.
I thought it was peculiar that she would come out and give this ad hoc interview. I suspected that there was something more to it than what meets the eye, or what they're portraying. I believe that she probably has some bills. She said she didn't know. Or Gary
see if this is true. I don't know if this is true about this Spanish woman, but social media has been sharing photos of this woman and Melania together when they were younger, hotter babes. And so I guess there's no denying that Melania was very close to this woman at one time. And apparently, according to social media, once again, they remained very close friends long after she married.
At a White House garden party, and she opened her mouth because, you know, she's a ditz. And Trump, this little kid's like, who is that? And Trump's like, you don't know who she is? She's a movie star. She's a Hollywood movie star. Because she's in the Jeff Bezos, you know, Amazon flick. You know, Melania, it's easy to roast Melania and Trump, but they have a kid, like, they're on talking terms, right? I mean, and she hasn't embarrassed America. She's only doing good things. So again, a lot of this is just a roast. Life is a roast, and this room is a roast. Clubhouse is a roast.
That people don't have bad moments in their past. Like, she may not have.
She's not Mother Teresa.
Involved with it would be as bad as it is, or would have a running past, or a long disgusting history the way it is. But it has, and she just happens to be the first lady now. So whatever, yeah. Whatever,
she's still better than the first lady and politically correct. That's a fact. Yeah, she was a model. Oh no, she was a model. When are you gonna how are you gonna trash a woman using her beauty to make money?
At the same time, y'all gotta do one at a time, please.
Well, first of all, I love that Karen was like, you must be Jewish because you're a bird. I'm sorry, you don't know that.
No, I'm just saying that someone said she didn't do anything to embarrass America. I think that's embarrassing. You know? But, you know, we look past that. But, I mean, she's young, hot, foreigner looking to date millionaire men. I wouldn't be surprised if she's a honeypot herself. You know?
No, she didn't come from nothing. She didn't come from nothing, but she was in the circle of these other people who were disgusting, who did disgusting things. So that's her very own fault.
Yeah, Bill Clinton.
These people, she should have separated herself from them. What did she do? She did not. She remained friends with this one girl for how long? Up until she's married to President Trump.
From Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. Never forget Bill Clinton's, you know, he is the OG. He's a CIA agent himself. Barack Obama is a continuation of the CIA presidencies from George Bush to Donald Trump, who is not a CIA president. He is the people's president. People voted Trump in because they were sick of the CIA presidents lying to us. Barack Hussein Obama is a liar. Coming out on that red carpet, we killed Osama bin Laden.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy work. You gotta let Sugar land. I don't even think she was done with her submission. Unless she is, then we can move on. I actually wasn't. Like, I feel like, I felt like it wasn't until anything was going to hit the fan when, you know, there's going beyond what the president may have been involved with Epstein. And it was going to eventually get to her because, of course, pageants, models, it goes hand in hand. All of this goes hand in hand. It was only a matter of time before it would get to the part that she may have been involved with. So we can't just say because of who she is today, it's going to exclude what she was involved with, you know, when she was in the height of her career.
She's not a mafia don. She's a brain-dead bimbo.
No, she's not, actually. Actually, respect the first lady.
Oh, now she respects her.
Everybody has a past. Like, anybody reading too deep into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Bill Clinton is in every single photo. Bill Clinton.
And all the hot photography and all of that stuff has 100% almost everything to do with Epstein.
And Bill Clinton. Let's be
all
honest.
these girls, what's going on? I'm sorry?
It's called Bill Clinton. Do you know who Bill Clinton is?
I
Like, understand. Yes, he does have a whole lot to do with it, but we're just talking about the modeling agencies and pageants and all of these girls, these young girls, and what they had to do with Epstein. You know, he dealt with a lot of big photographers, small movie roles and things like that. We just got to be truthful. Around that time, she had a hot career. You know, she came over here dealing with those people. You know, maybe her face ain't all over it, but her body definitely is. A lot of these girls, their bodies 100% had everything to do with what was going on with Epstein, and their faces and everything was wiped out. That's a lot of why they aren't able to be identified. But I think that's going to come to the light too. We got people speaking up on this stuff, and I don't know if they're doing it for free or for what reasons they're doing it. They don't want to go down by themselves.
Baby, I'm just trying to cleanse my chakras.
I be damned if this girl goes down on her own and she knows Melania was standing right beside her. I don't blame her. That's crazy.
Just because he got sent to the gulag.
In the gulag now universe. But yeah, man, it's I understand why she did her speech. It's kind of like keep my name out of your mouth kind of thing.
You can respond now, universe.
There's nothing to say. I mean, it's just not really that great of a story. Melania's stories always just end in a whimper, and you know it, I know it. And she's just not a controversial figure in the Trump administration. The fact of the matter is, Trump is the Don. Obviously, you know, he's Don Juan, and he put up the Columbus statue because in Chicago and all other major cities, they have removed all the Columbus statues. And I'm not the biggest fan of Columbus, the conquistador. And, you know, but the point is, I don't bring up Columbus every day. I'm only bringing it up because and I didn't know that he put up the statue. But anyways, he does have that tie to Cuba, so that's a signal. And he's signaling. Trump is signaling psychologically that he's coming for Cuban conqueror. And, you know, it's got to suck, right? I mean, to be in a predicament like that as an island country. But anyways, I posted on X that I hope there's a creative breakthrough to a diplomatic solution, because creativity has to be fun, and it is fun. They have to come up with a creative solution and stop with, you know, the militarism or, you know, the heavy-handedness. I think Marco, even though he puts on a real tough front, I bet you, like, he's pragmatic and reasonable. A lot of this is like a collections effort, and the U.S. government thinks that it's due a cut in the same way that the mafia thinks they're due their protection money. It's the same way that the U.S. is operating all around the world, and we got to deal with Venezuela, and so there are solutions, but these are breaks. I mean, for God's sakes, they swooped in the middle of the night and captured Maduro. That bastard was, you know, plugging up the drain pipes.
I don't understand anything Universe is saying. It didn't want to make sense. But what he just... No, I can't, like, give you...
He was talking about plugging holes, Papa. Plugging holes. That's what I got. Plugging up.
So, after the Venezuelan guy,
Maduro!
people were praising, they were thanking President Trump for that, but that doesn't mean that they just stop having oil or anything. But I do know that the United States, anything else, Venezuelan people aren't struggling. They're not begging for U.S. dollars to come in and save them. I think that they're doing pretty good, and they just need a great leader to come in and do better by them, the people.
Implies the things that you need in order to survive. You pursue the things to survive.
These are all correct principles. Very good, Simon. I am honored.
jumping off and the jump of the Venezuelan president is what got into Trump's head. I mean, how fast they went in and came out and how close it was got into Trump's head, and he thought he could go Iran and replicate the same thing. I mean, when he went into Iran, I think he thought it was going to be a 2 to 3 day shit.
Only
About what?
Donald Trump. Oh, thank you, Nathan. Oh my gosh, that's all. Thank you very much. I was over here getting hit for actually no reason.
Who started?
Yeah, old lady talked about, hey, you know the message that came out from
Who brought the
with
conversation to the Safe Act?
the Safe Act. That's what we were talking about. And them saying that it shouldn't be that easy.
How people that voted for you because of the promises
If you want to talk about Epstein files, you got to talk about Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is in all the photos with Epstein. Every single him and Epstein are fucking women wearing silk shirts.
voted for him for that. He's failed all those promises and still submitting today, even though he's failed all the promises. I think the person is in an abusive relationship.
I don't think he's failed all the promises. I do think that 2 days before, I think that 2 days before this, I'm sorry, wait, you are done.
No, I said, tell me the promises he's kept. I'll listen.
Okay, so what I was going to reply to was 2 days before he had a visit from somebody, remember, before the Venezuelan invasion. Do you remember who visited him?
For Venezuela? No, I don't know.
No, not from Venezuela. Do you remember who visited 2 days before that?
No, I don't. No.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
You mean Venezuela or Iran?
No. The Venezuelan invasion. Benjamin Netanyahu visited him 2 days prior.
Yahoo!
No, not Yahoo. Not Yahoo. Okay, so you're right. I agree with you about he didn't know that it would go this way. He didn't know that Iran would close the strait. He is in over his head when it comes to agreeing to this war, because we do know that Israel
If you're trying to convince
just
me,
wants what they want. They don't even know what they
I'm
want.
sorry.
They just want what
Not
they want.
mine. I spent time and I could
Yeah. Netanyahu came in, got interfered. I don't think he intentionally was where we are now. Has nothing to do with any executive orders or anything that he signed, and that's been some benefit to the United States. So, yeah. Unless we're just going to go on a black and brown conversation, which I don't think that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the promises that he's kept. And Joe,
Order inflation is lower today.
how is inflation? Can you quote the inflation numbers that you say are lower? What was inflation when he got into office, and what is inflation today?
Yeah, hold on a second. If you actually do the things they promised, a secure border, it's not that we have a secure border.
Not right now. Not right now. It's not. It might be later, but it's not right now.
What was the highest gas? It's higher than it.
I didn't see it. Sorry.
These things are cyclical, baby.
I probably agree with you. Maybe the only
And it's not like he's been saying for the last 20 that he has a problem. That he was president, he would never allow nuclear weapons. He's been saying this literally for years. You can find a compilation on YouTube.
Come on, I can't be hearing when y'all be doing that.
Because people can't make a point that, are proving these other people were. He said, you're 2001. He said 2002. He said the same thing over and over. People come on stage and they're like, whoa,
to do this. Before he ever met Netanyahu, he's been saying he was going to do this. So you guys are being totally disingenuous. It's like the Trump derangement. Shit about it. It's just so fucking like. This is not like natural.
Joe, this can't be the first time.
What did I lie about?
Joe, what did I lie about? Whisper in his ear that this was never his decision. He never talked about doing this. He has talked about doing this for 20 years.
You're looking for his JCPOA that Obama put together during his presidency that tore up just because.
Just because he hated him, maybe he thought deal, man.
So that agreement involves nobody saying that shit. Oh, that Iran shouldn't have nuclear weapons. They were negotiating before he dropped bombs 2 days later. 1. 2. That means he lied to you during his campaign, right? He lied to say, I'm not gonna put America into any more new wars.
Yeah, no new forever wars. This isn't.
The last 47 years. But people just don't understand that.
Jesus fucking Christ. When you finish, I'm waiting on him to get the inflation numbers.
Let me Google that for you, Ben. Jelly 45%.
We ask that you please don't interrupt anybody while they're giving their submission, brother. It's hard to hear on the replays. But there you go, Joe.
Well, time is of the priority, isn't it? We're all wasting time.
Hey, don't your ass up right now.
Joel, what you doing? Are you giving us a submission or what?
I thought King was trying to talk.
Oh, King was on the call?
Yeah.
Well, Mike on King. Let me see. You know why Joe is not giving us a submission? Because he doesn't have shit to give us now. So, Mike, on to the next person. Thank you.
Hello?
Hey, what you saying, bro?
He's trying to find. Let me tell you what's happening now. He's looked up inflation today on Google and said he's noticed that it's bullshit what he's saying. He's gone to X. X is probably telling him it's bullshit. He's probably on Truth Social now trying to see where Trump lied about inflation. He's maybe not finding. The next thing he's going to go to the White House page to look for where inflation is better today. So, Joe, we're waiting for you to bring the inflation numbers if you don't mind. Thank you.
Is he your Google or AI query, Ben? Just look it up. I don't understand. It's not if he's lying about the number by 2% or 4% or 5% or 10%. We all know the government's $40 trillion in debt. We all know that the government is completely broke and that they're paying over $1 trillion a year on a $40 trillion mortgage. So I don't understand. Do we need to confirm that inflation's a problem? Yes, it's a fucking most of all, because the taxpayers cough up $5 trillion a year. $5 trillion a year, but we spend $7.5 trillion a year. That means we got a deficit, ladies and gentlemen, $2.5 trillion a year. Prove to me that I'm wrong. Prove to me that I'm wrong.
Kitover, respectfully, some of us we're coming off some coffee. We're trying to keep it low and you high pitched voice. Can you take out just a couple? Country bonus. Just a couple decibels, Kitover. I ain't trying to hate, but that high pitch it's rattling my nervous system.
Hello? Okay, so wait, hold on. Okay, let me get this straight, right? Universe. So you saying the debt that we owe is to China, is to where else? Who you say? Great Britain?
It's to the Jews that control the banks in Great Britain. It's to the Federal Reserve that's run by the Jews.
Yeah, it's Germany, it's Italy, it's UK, the Bank of England, it's every European Central Bank
own central bank. They produce their own inflated currency. The biggest marketplace on the planet Earth is the currency market. It's in the I don't know, in the quadrillions, because you got to total up all the trillions. So the point is, this is a civilization go within. Everybody knows the truth. Trump is not Ron Paul. Trump thinks globally. Trump Hotel is such a famous movie because it's like competing royal households on planet Earth. America has to compete with royal household of Saudi Arabia and the royal household of Great Britain and their dominions. It's still royalty all around the world competing against democracies and representative republics. If you want to know the truth, Donald Trump, if he wants to be successful, he has to be ruthlessly liberating. Not just liberating America, but liberating enslaved people to
Also, so I have to look up some information to make sure I'm actually next year. So, gas for sure. If you look up gas, Miami, Florida, under Joe Biden, they peaked at $4.75. The highest gas got in Miami, Florida, even during this Iran conflict, was $4.22. So,
wait a minute.
You're
Sorry
about that.
Wait a minute, Joe. So the gas in Florida underneath Joe Biden was at for something. What year was that? Because years matter at this point.
So there's
Hold on, Ben. It's okay. Patience, man. Patience.
Says June 2022.
No.
2022. So we're talking almost a year. I'm gonna say a year fresh out of COVID. Because if you really think about it, COVID started in 2020 for us, mid 2020. It went on for about a year of us not being outside and being able to be in social settings with each other to that degree. And then 2022, he is now cleaning up the 2022, what's his name? Biden comes in and he's now in charge of, basically what happened prior to.
You're going to realize, if you've been looking into COVID, who's the CEO of Pfizer? It's a Jew called Albert
Yeah,
Bourla.
we're not talking about that, honey. I'm sorry.
Not sure what COVID has to do with gas prices.
Because
People who are behind it.
Lord, I'm not about to yell over none of y'all today. Y'all got me twisted. COVID has everything to do, especially in 2022, because inflation was still a thing. You know what I'm saying? It was still a thing, and that's but he wasn't in office when COVID broke out, sir.
But what I'm saying is that there's a common denominator between
if I put somebody in the go, come on, man, because if I'm trying to talk and this man keeps coming off mic, come on, y'all, pay attention to what's going on.
So we're just gonna pretend that Democrat policies don't cause prices to go up. We're just gonna pretend that.
Ben, please. What did you say?
I don't know, like, TSU, are you just like a super Democrat shill? Like, you're just like.
Why do we always gotta get into personal attacks and not be able to just stay on topic? We all know how COVID affected gas pricing as soon as we came out of quote unquote that epidemic. We all know and seen a shift in the market and in inflation. We all seen that. Why does it have to be what I am? It's not about me. This is not about me.
So when somebody campaigns on saying we're gonna shut down fracking, we're gonna shut down natural gas, we're gonna shut down oil companies, you don't think that contributed to gas going up? When somebody pushes a green energy policy, you're gonna say no. Joe Biden Democrats did not cause gas to go up. That's your.
I didn't say that it was just COVID. I'm saying that, that's why I asked you the year that you were speaking of, because 2022, we did see an inflation coming out of COVID.
It was not COVID. It was the policy that Democrats passed in Joe Biden's first 2 years as president.
Goodbye.
What's going on is that even up in his first term, the gas prices did go up after COVID. Now, what you bring in to us is also a factor. We never said that didn't happen, nor did that contribute. So I'm trying to figure out, where did you get lost in your own argument that you brought up?
I'm not lost here. I made a very simple statement that gas reached $4.74 under Joe Biden's presidency
In Miami.
and that even now, with this conflict in Iran, it still has not reached the prices that we had under Joe Biden. That's all I said.
Can I give you some data?
Mike is saying, oh no, we have to say it's because of this. Definitely not because of Democrat policies. Like, if you're gonna be a shill, just say you're a shill. Like,
Wow.
be proud about it. Like, if you're a Democrat shill, just fucking stand on it. Like, you don't need to fucking gaslight people, bro.
Are you a
Portability and
So,
action.
all right, so let me just give y'all this. Joe Biden was inaugurated as the 46th president of the United States on January 20th, 2021, 1 year basically after COVID was hit. So, based on my little bit of search, it says that prices were relatively low, right? In 2021, approximately gas price was $2.39 per gallon, right? Approximately. Prices were relatively low. With analysts citing that the impact of COVID-19, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on demand initial trends. Gasoline prices began to rise through 2021 as economic activity recovered. Peak prices, the national average reached a record high of over $5 per gallon in June of 2022. Causes for increase. Rising gas prices during this period were attributed to a combination of surging post-pandemic demand, supply constraints, and the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which affected global oil markets. So can we both say that we're right, sir? Can we, for the sake of our argument, can we both say, let's shake hands and say we're both right? Joe?
No, I actually don't agree with that.
All right, so, I'm done. Y'all got
with Russia too. When Joe Biden stopped producing oil in America and he let Russia become the number one oil producing company, that made them rich and that emboldened them to attack another country.
Joe was already rich before anything with Ukraine.
Like, you guys know that.
Joe, you know that. Joe,
You're wasting your time talking to maggots. Nothing you say really is gonna enter his mind.
You can't make an argument.
Maggots. Oh no, we got Lonzo, the Jew hater here, the anti-Semite supremacist. Oh God. Lonzo is totally brain dead. Poor guy lives in hate. Oh, he's spreading hate about the Jews.
Let's not do that. Let's start the conversation. Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. Yo,
Also on the plantation. He's so deep.
Yo, little white guy, shut the fuck up.
Little white guy. Here we go with the hate speech again. You're such a racist, Lonzo. You a racist, Lonzo.
Appreciate you, man.
Joe, chill. One Mike Orlando needs a new submission. I want to hear what he has to say. You big guy's been talking. I want to hear what he has to say. Go.
Wars equal higher gas prices, y'all. This is just, a trend that tends to happen. When they said something about Russia's invasion of Ukraine, boom, rise, right? also rise, which is great because you would think, you know, the amount of oil that Venezuela has under U.S. control, it would, you know, lead to a decrease because Venezuela has like the most gas,
You don't even know what moves markets. It's called uncertainty line.
Or oil. Venezuela has that. It's just like really weird to me, like how people just go around that. They're gonna subvert that, right? You know, lie more on Russia, making Russia even more powerful. Right? So we're pushing them to Russia's bosom even more.
Bosom of
right?
Russia.
I think this is what Trump is.
The warm, sweet, juicy Russian titty.
Countries closer to either China, Russia, and Iran even tighter. He's even going to be surprised that more European countries are going to stick beside Iran, right? Because Iran definitely has a bunch of oil. You'll probably try to even see more Chinese people going to places like Iran and helping them fix their civilian infrastructure and whatever gas infrastructure that was taken. So I don't know. It's sort of like I just saw a clip probably 5 minutes before I came into this room where Trump actually said it about China. You know, hey, come buy the oil from us. You know, we have a ton of oil in Venezuela. I think China is smarter than that. China, although they do have, allegiance to money, I think money isn't just the only thing China cares about. They care also about relations, long-term relations, and they respect those relations. You see how they've been with North Korea, right? No matter all the sanctions the world has put on North Korea, every other day there's a long-ass train. That train will still keep flowing from China to North Korea every other day. So, I mean, you know, respect is, apparently means a lot more to some people than others. And with China, it looks like, I'm going to respect Xi even more if he actually holds his ground and sticks beside, those countries that he has, huge relations with.
You have to question yourself if somebody who is literally cheering for China, like he's on the stage cheering for China, cheering for the downfall of his own country because he's so Trump deranged. You have to question when you're agreeing with somebody like that, how dumb you actually have to be to agree with somebody who is cheering for China and cheering for him.
Joe, you don't understand Lonzo's worldview. He's a racist, bigot, low IQ piece of shit.
He's very dumb. His Democrat masters tell him to hate Trump.
You don't have to include your submission.
Yeah, I don't have to, but
Sugar, you ain't a mob, baby.
If you're overly sensitive, you can't.
Hold on, Joe. The lady moderator asked you to curtail disrespect for other members on stage. I would ask you to please hear what the young lady is asking you to do. If unfortunately you are able to do that, then we will no longer allow you to use our platform to get your submission.
It's not your platform, baby. You just on the plantation.
Yes. If you guys are so anti-free speech and you want to kick people who disagree with you and don't listen to your
We don't call that anti-free speech. What we call that is
feel free to kick me.
being mature means having.
Yeah, kick them to the goo. Kick them from the room.
Without having to disrespect and demean other people. This is what we call having an intelligent society of intelligent people. While you might think someone is stupid, but maturity allows us to be able to say what it is we have to say.
Yo, Democrat masters on the plantation.
So if you have some decorum, and if you've been raised in a civilized society, you know to have manners, you know how proper diction and all that sort of thing, then I please implore you to continue your submission. You don't have the personal discipline to refrain from those types of arguments, Unfortunately, by any
You
means.
can't have those arguments here. You can't have that kind of speech here. It's too confrontational. It causes too much friction to have our authority questioned. Please keep your submission and compliance upon the man.
All right. Well, you had a chance to talk.
That was fast. I ain't never seen a 49-year-old do that quick.
Okay, then if the president is saying they trying to have the Venezuelan oil, or let us, guide you into the smart purchase of purchasing from Venezuela or from the U.S. He is asking them to purchase.
Chest full of signal. Too much life in me to leave it unnamed. So I gather all the fragments and I build me a flame. Unstable with the heat, my senses feeling hypersensitive. Traversing the wild world with weary eyes, still listening. Burning from the heavy red. Like everything got pressure hidden, the edges and the sediment. I'm hungry for patterns and instead of compression. You can pack this whole wide world into a page like a mission. Try to fold all the ink, all the glow, all the rhythm. All the flames so low, and the real hard lessons together. I read life by texture, by tone, by the heat and the stare, by the hush in the home, by the slide in the won't feel wrong in the bone, by the way I stay crowded even when I'm alone. So I write like a flare when the night get dense, trying to make my clean shape from a split up sense. I don't do this for style, or the style get mean. I do this so the signal don't die unseen. You know I don't wanna have to hold it all inside. If I could just transmute this static into light, would you mind? You know I don't wanna let it rock behind my eyes. If I can turn this load into a light, would you mind? Don't think I'm selfish, but I'd rather change myself and make myself up as I go. The more I know, the less I know. The spirits of my homies in my periphery. And when the night would rise, we cracking the fires. In the trance, busting with the green lady. By the blue flame, tune into the frequency. Trying to hit a part of me, the noise won't let me see. My mind like a lantern swinging in the wind. One hand on the future, one hand on the cliff. Full sky look alive when the dark cave in. And the dead weight thoughts start talking like a damn. But I know that voice that drop me down. The past and it by, but it don't hold the reins. I'm a hero all at once, I'm just learning to change. You know I don't wanna have to hold it all inside. If I could just transmute this attic into life, you mind? I don't wanna let it right behind my eyes. If I can turn this overload into a light, you mind? I don't think I'm selfish, but I'd rather be the one to change myself and make myself up as I go. The more I know, the less I know. And I need help with turning myself into something else. The best way I know is through flow. The more I know, the less I know. So I transmute static into light and let it show. Maybe I'm not broken, maybe I'm still in design. Maybe all this pressure just told the dawn to shine. Maybe I'm lost here. Maybe I'm didn't really right. Maybe all this static was waiting to become light. Hey, I come from the fraction of falls that I weather. From patchwork identity pulling itself together. From TV goes scriptures and symbols of shelter. From learning the world through the glass and the pressure. So when I say flow, I don't mean just rhythm. I mean building a bridge so I don't go missing. I mean giving the overload shape and decision. I mean turning raw signal into something living. Rhymes in the palm, whole future in fragments. Trying to make tools for the ones that got language trapped in them. For the kids with the break train minds in the crack brain. Who know they got gold but can't always get access. I want more than survival, but survival time form. I stick with the storm till the post gets warm. I don't wear many masks and still stay warm. Same soul in the static, just a different transform. So I step to the mic like a gate half open. I'm finished, I'm fixed, but the code still spoken in every line I spit. It's me holding the thread between the life I've been given and the one I invent. Don't think I'm selfish, but I'd rather be the one to change myself and make myself up as I go. The more I know, the less I know. And I need help with turning myself into something else. The best way I know is through flow. The more I know, the less I know. So I transmute static into light and let it show. Don't think I'm selfish, I just know I can't leave this on the show. I had to build my name.
Said it's in the books on the top shelf, hidden in the codes of the star belt. I chased every tree, every shore, still felt like I was stuck in the mud. Then my granddad laughed, said, "Boy, lean in. Keep asking what, but not who you've been. Secret wisdom of success ain't a mansion, ain't a check. Showing up when you feel small, making promises and giving all the stands
your chest. Doing daily what you do the best when your heart's the one you impress. Status in the books on the top shelf, hidden in the coals of the stop bell. I chased every tree, every shortcut, still felt like I was stuck in the mud. When you feel small, making promises, then give it all, standing steady. I learned to shake hands, look 'em straight on, say I don't know yet, but still stay strong. Turn a late night loss to a lesson kept, count my blessings more than the money I get. 'Cause every heavy door needs 1,000 knocks. That no one checks, it's saying sorry when you're wrong. Calling home before you stroll along is loving harder. When there's less, that's the secret wisdom of success. Before you rise, keeping faith when plans fall through. Not quitting on the truth. Secret wisdom of success. More than trophies, more than flags, is quiet courage in your chest. Doing daily what you do the best when your heart's the one you impress. That's the secret wisdom of success. You said, know yourself, but I kept looking in other people's eyes. Chasing the halos, wearing their masks, till my own reflection felt like a lie. Then silence grew loud in my chest. Every breath asking, who are you really? I'm a little late in morning, breaking, waking, shining through. Every crack becomes a doorway to a better, truer truth. Lifetime as a practice, harder. Sit with my shadows, name them like friends, anger, fear, and jealousy. What do you defend? I pour them some mercy, teach them to bow. The truth is a godly. I'm a mirror made of morning, breaking, waking, shining through. kept looking in other people's eyes, chasing the halos, wearing silence grew loud in my chest. Every breath asking, who are you really? I'm a mirror made of morning, waking, shining through. Every part becomes a doorway to a better, truth. Myself in kindness, not in polish, not in proof. Learning how to love this lifetime as a practice, not a rule. I sit with my shadows, listening to my friends, and fear and jealousy would do to thin. I know each thought is a stone in the path. I choose which ones I step on slowly. I'm a mirror made of morning, waking, shining through. Every crack becomes a doorway to a better, truth. As a practice, not a rule. Reading old stories fall like ash. Breathe out new courage in new crack. Wildfire burning all the lights. Oh, I'm a mirror made of morning, waking, shining through. Every scar has a story into something bright and new. Myself in kindness, compassion be my proof. Learning how to live this lifetime as a practice, not a rule. Perfection of fascinating. Courage, meditation, perfection of personality, through the love of wisdom, virtue, character, personality, courage, meditation. Courage, and the phoenix has for its hand, below us who crawl. They spear the wicked. I will spear thee, O thou little grey god, unless thou beware. From the grey to the gold, from the gold to that which is beyond the gold of all fear. My God, but I love thee. Why hast thou whispered so ambiguous tales? Waste thou afraid? No boat of one, O pillar of me. From the lightning fall pearls, from the pearls black specks of I based all on one on all. spear the wicked, I will spear thee. O thou little grey God, unless thou beware from the grey to the gold, from the gold to that which is beyond the gold. Why hast thou whispered so ambiguous things? Wast thou afraid, O goat who throws black specks at nothing? Not based on what I'm not afloat in the eye. My God, my God. Oh, thou great, oh, thou open eye, oh, ever weeping one. Not Isis, my mother, nor Osiris, myself, but the incestuous Horus given over to Typhon. Sorry I be their thought, and thought is evil. It is enough. Fall not into death, oh my soul. Think that death is the bed into which you are falling. Oh, how I love thee. Oh, my God. Especially is there a vehement parallel light from infinity, vilely diffracted in the haze of this mind. With a spell of blood quench thy blood thirst, oh my God. Tonight I am raised with thoughts and the whole. Kiss me thy kisses, oh my God. Lightning came and licked up the flag of shame. There is a tongue in death away. See the trident walking o'er its head. Below to bronze they spear the wicked. I will spear thee, O thou little God. Unless why hast thou whispered so ambiguously? Wast thou afraid of those who the killer of lightning from the lively the spout of blood quench thy blood thirst, oh my God. A little white rabbit in the burrow thy kisses, oh Lord God. Lightning came that A phoenix hath it for its head. Below are two prongs, they spear the wicked. I will spear thee, O thou little grey guard, unless the haste thou whispers so ambiguous things. Oh, appetite of a beast, I hunt thee through the universe. Thou art standing, as it were, upon a pinnacle at the edge of thee as a nymph, her white limbs stretched by the spring. She lies upon the moss, there is none other but she. Art thou not prepared? I am he, speak not, oh my God. Let the work be accomplished in silence. Let my cry of pain be crystallized into a little white fawn to run away into the forest. Thou art a centaur, oh my God, temper steel. There is no diamond inside thee. Did I not heal this body and soul? I will lay with the dagger drawn across my throat. Let the spout of blood quench thy blood thirst, oh my God. With the vehement appetite of a beast, I hunt thee through the universe. And perch upon thee. Thou art my lover, I see thee as a nymph with her white limbs stretched by the spring. She lies upon the moss, there is none other but she. Art thou not Pan? I am he, speak not, oh my God. Let the work be accomplished in silence. Let my cry of pain be crystal, body and soul. I woo thee with a dagger drawn across my throat. Let the spout of blood quench thy bloodthirst, oh my God. To my lonely spot, even from the brave river they reach to the edge of the wilderness, and I behold into the nostrils of the stars. But what have I to do with these? To me only the distant flute and the tongue breaks for weird and monstrous. The embrace of him intense on every center of pain and pleasure. The six interior Notice the noise in your chest, thoughts pacing, racing. You don't have to fix them, just let them pass by. Breathing through the night, empty till the bottom feels kind. You are the storm in the stillness. Now count with me. In 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let it go. Shoulders mountain downward. Heart of the turn in your chest. Steady, simple, guiding you back to center. Breathing through the nose, slowly. I know that people feel the rhythm drop. Breathe out through the mouth, long like a quiet tide. Empty till the bottom feels kind. You are the storm and the stillness inside. Ride the name it softly and breathe again. Hold the beat for feel the ribs draw wide. Breathe out through the mouth, long like a quiet tide. Inhale, one long exhale. Feel the ground keep you when you are ready. Open your eyes when all is calm. Is yours on demand. Find your seat, feet on the ground, spine rising like a control wave. Let your hands rest heavy, jaw loose, tongue soft, gaze easy behind closed eyes. Notice the noise in your chest, thoughts pacing, racing. You don't have to fix them,